What's up, guys? This is Brent with Western Equipment. Let's get right on into this John Deere 6105E. Now, let's start talking about the model number here, 6105E. So how this works, this is going to be the same format as most all John Deere tractor models. So what we're going to have first is the 6. The 6 is going to indicate the series of tractor that this machine is in. So we have all the way down from 1s, which is going to start our subcompacts, 2s, 3s, 4s, which are all going to be compact tractors, 5s, which move into the utility series, and then 6 being our first intro series tractors into the real agricultural market. So this being the 6105, the next 3 digits are going to indicate the horsepower of the engine. So on this machine, it's going to be 105 engine horsepower. Then lastly, we're going to have the letter E. So like a lot of other John Deere models, you are going to have in this 6 series E's, M's, and R, and these are going to indicate the trim level. E is going to be that lower end trim level, more of the economy level tractor. M is going to be your mid-spec, and R is going to be your loaded out tractor. So the 6105E is going to be one of 3 E-series tractors in the 6 family. So you have the 6105E, the 6120E, and the 6135E. So the 6105E is going to be the smallest 6 series tractor that you can get in, and it's also going to be the most basic out of all the 6 series tractors. Let's start here at the engine. Like we said, we are at 105 horsepower here at the engine. Now, one thing that is going to translate to is 89 horsepower at the PTO. So whatever implements you're going to be pulling at the rear, if you are pulling ones that are going to be ground engaging, you know that you have 105 horsepower here at the engine to pull that attachment or implement. And then also if you are using something that's going to be using your PTO shaft that is PTO driven, such as a brush cutter, tiller, whatever those things are, maybe even a round baler, square baler, you have 89 horsepower at the PTO. So just know that. That'll help you pick those implements and attachments that'll fit this tractor. Now, along with this engine, let's go over a few of the maintenance points. Some of them you are going to be able to get to without raising the hood. For instance, over here on the left-hand side, you are going to have your engine fill, which is also going to double as your dipstick. Once you take that cap off and pull it up, your dipstick is going to be right there. This is also going to be your fill. Right next to that is going to be your engine oil filter. Then if we go ahead and raise up the hood here, which we can do really easily by pulling on this little silver latch right here, first thing that we're going to see is going to be our cooling components here. So we are going to have our oil cooler, our condenser for our air conditioner. We're also going to have our radiator. Then we're going to have our air filter right up here, and then down below we are going to have our battery. Now, once we move around to the right hand side, this is where we're going to be able to get to a few more components. 2 of those service components being our fuel filters. You are going to have 2 fuel filters on this machine. You're also going to have on that side, you're going to have your alternator and your starter, and you're also going to be able to get to such things as your coolant filter as well. All very important parts to know if this is something that you are going to be working on by yourself. You need to know where these service points are, and they are really accessible, really nice and easy to get to on this machine. Now, this is going to be a John Deere engine. It is a 4-cylinder engine, and like we said, it is 105 horsepower. So moving up, once we move up into that 5 series and into the 6 series, you are going to the John Deere engines. Now, down in our compact tractors and subcompact tractors, you are still going to see the Yanmars, but rest assured, even though this is the smallest model in the 6 series, you are still getting that John Deere made engine. Moving around here to the left side of the tractor, first thing that I want to talk about is going to be the front axle. You are going to have 2 options here. You are going to be able to get this in a 2-wheel drive model, which is not going to have the large, big lug tires here. It will have the smaller tires, that standard 2-wheel drive tractor, or you can have the MFWD front axle like we have here on the front that is going to have the larger tires lugged out and be able to have that front wheel assist on your machine. Now, also here at the front, you can get these tractors loader ready from the factory. So we would have these large mounting brackets on the left side and the right side. And then also on the right side, if this machine is loader ready, you are going to have your hydraulics for your front end loader mounted over there as well. You're also over here on the left side going to have this toolbox as we get into the cab. Then right next to that, we are going to have our fuel tank right here. This is going to have a 44-gallon capacity. Then right below that, we are going to have that DEF tank. Since this machine is over that 75 horsepower range, you are going to require DEF on this machine, so just know where that DEF tank is located. Then of course we are going to have our steps and entry up into the cab. Then moving back here to our rear axle, you are going to have just one option here at the rear axle, and that is going to be the standard flanged wheels. You are not going to have the option of adding that bar style axle to be able to add duals to this tractor. That's a feature that you're going to get into once you get up into the M series. So whenever you're looking at these 6 series tractors, if duals is something that you're going to need, or a little extra weight, little wider stance, you may want to look into a little higher series tractor than the E series. But what you are going to be able to do is make sure and ballast this tractor out, be able to add rear weights to this machine like we have on this one here. So whenever we add that front end loader, we make sure that we have the right weight to be able to handle it. At the rear here, we're gonna have a pretty basic rear end. Like I said, this is the E model of tractors, or the E trim level, so you are gonna be pretty standard. So what we're gonna have here is a standard category 2 3-point hitch. Now this is gonna have a standard lifting capacity of 5,300 pounds, but you do have the option of going to a heavy duty rear hitch here, where you can get up to 7,300 pounds of rear lifting capacity if you opt into that heavy duty option. So category 2, 5,500 pounds up to 7,300 pounds. You are going to come standard on these machines with 2 rear ISO couplers for your rear hydraulic implements, but you can add a third as we have on this machine. Now, as far as our PTO shaft goes, you are going to have a reversible 540 to 1000. So right down here, you'll be able to grab this snap ring, pull it off, take out that shaft, flip it around to be able to go from 540 to 1000, depending on what type of implements you're needing there at the driveline. Then you're also going to have a category 2 drawbar here. This is going to be adjustable. As we can see, the pins here on either side and at the rear there, that's going to allow you to either pull this drawbar out or move it to the left or right to be able to fit, once again, any of those implements that you're going to be using here at the rear. Now, you're also going to have 2 service points back here at the rear. For one, you are going to have your hydraulic fill right here. Then you're also going to have your large hydraulic filter over here to the right hand side of your 3-point hitch. So just know that whenever we're doing that service, we do have those service points for our hydraulics. And then also, like all other tractors, you are going to have grease points on this machine, and the main set of those is going to be back here at the rear. So if we're looking at our 3-point hitch, or looking at our arms here, anywhere that something is going to rotate up and down, or we have a cylinder, and here on our linkages, we are going to have grease points to make sure that this thing operates smoothly, because we're going to get a lot of dirt, a lot of dust, and a lot of buildup back here at the rear of the machine. So we want to make sure and be taking care of these grease points to keep this thing working smoothly all throughout the season. All right, so now let's go ahead and get up into the cab, go ahead and show you all the controls up in there and get a good look at where everything is at. So going up and in, first thing that we are going to see is going to be our instructional seat. Right here, this is just going to be an easy flip down seat right here, so that if you need someone riding along with you to be able to instruct them, you've got that extra seat. Now, the standard seat on these machines is going to be a mechanical seat, but you do have the option of getting an air suspension seat on these machines. So if that is something that you would like, that is something that is orderable. Once we get inside, really roomy cab. You've got a lot of headspace up top, a lot of space all the way around, really good visual all the way around the cab and out the back. So here is going to be our steering wheel here. This is going to be adjustable, so we can simply grab on this lever right down here underneath and then pull our steering wheel down into place just like so. Next, we'll go ahead and start up the machine so you can hear how it sounds. Right down here will be our key switch. All right, now I do have the door open and the air conditioner running, so there is going to be a little bit of noise here, but it is a hot summer day. So we'll go ahead and get the door shut. What's nice is once you're in the seat, you can just reach out, grab the door, close that shut to open it right here. So nice, easy latching system. If we look over to our left, starting out, first thing we'd see up top are going to be our 3 air vents, and then we're also going to have a dome light over here that we can turn on. Have this for whenever we open the door, and of course our speakers for our radio. If we look around the top here in the middle, we are going to have our flip down shade here, and also that rear view mirror right there. Then up and to the right is going to be our AC or climate controls right there. So we do have air conditioning, heat, and your fan speed control along with 3 vents at the top, and then an area here to put your radio in. Like we've talked about multiple times already in this video, this is the base series machine, so these are usually not going to come from the factory with a radio installed, so you can choose what radio you want, have that installed before it's delivered, or if you are handy enough, go ahead and tackle that yourself. Now if we look down here to our dash setup, let's go ahead and look at these controls. Down over here to the left, you are going to have your light switch and then also your computer switch here. Now what this is going to do is whenever we hit this button, it is going to bring up some different features here on the screen. Then up and on the steering column here, we are going to have our reverser. So this is what's going to put us in forward, neutral as we are now, or pull it back to go into reverse. Now on these tractors, you are going to have the option for 3 different power reverser transmissions. You are going to have a 12-12, which means 12 forward gears, 12 reverse gears. You are going to have a 12-12 with a creeper mode or a low gear mode, or you're going to have a 24-12 transmission that's going to have 24 forward gears and 12 reverse gears. And so over here to our right is where we are going to have our gear shift and also our range selector. So how we get those 12-12s or 24-12s is we have 4 ranges, 3 gears, 4 times 3 is 12, and then you have your forward and reverse, so that is how we get our 12-12. Now whenever we are going to get into that 24-12, what we're going to have is a high-low selector. So like on this transmission, we have our high and low selector right here. So now not only do we have those 12 going forward, but we also can pick high and low, so that gives us 24 gears going forward and 12 in reverse. Now moving up here to the dash, we are going to have our layout here. A little hard to see, but we have our speedometer here in the middle, our hour meter, all our gauges, and lots of lights here around the outside. Now I've actually already done a video on all of the lights that you could have and all of the dash instruments that you have up here in another video, so I'll make sure to post that down in the description below so that you can know what those lights are and what they mean whenever they come on if you have one of these machines. Next, over to the right, we are going to have this button right here. This is going to be for our diesel particulate filter cleaning system. You want to mainly always leave this in auto. If we have this emblem come up with the P, we want to go ahead and hit that button. This is going to turn that cleaning system off. There should never be a time that you want to turn this system off, because what you want is this tractor to be able to clean that exhaust filter when it needs to. So leave that in auto. That way whenever you're working and this machine goes into a regen or a cleaning of that exhaust filter, you will see that puff of smoke symbol come up on your machine. Go ahead and leave the machine running, let it do its cleaning, let it do its thing. That way it continues to breathe well as the engine's supposed to. Now if it comes up with that cloud of smoke in that P, that means you need to do a parked regen. So you need to go ahead and stop what you're doing, put the machine in park, go ahead and leave it on and let it clean itself. This usually only happens whenever that exhaust filter is super dirty, but you need to make sure and be watching for that and making sure that we do that whenever that symbol comes up. Next, down below here, we are going to have our windshield washer switch right here, and then our horn right down here. Once we move over to our right, here is going to be our loader joystick. Now this is going to function just like most other loader joysticks that you probably ever ran. You're going to have your forward and reverse for your up and down function on your loader, your left and your right for your dump and your curl of your bucket. And this all depends on, of course, where you put your hydraulic hoses on this loader, but this will be your joystick. Then over here to the right, since we have 3 SCVs at the back, 3 rear hydraulics, we are going to have the 3 different levers here to operate those hydraulics. Then we are going to have our throttle over here to the side. So not only do we have this hand throttle, but we also right down here have this orange pedal, which is going to be a foot throttle. So that you can see whenever I push down on that foot throttle there, we can rev the tractor up there, or we can use our hand throttle right here. Then right next to that is going to be our MFWD button here. So this is going to turn this to where the MFWD is on, or we can put it into auto to where it will only pick up an MFWD whenever the machine feels that it needs it to be used. So a lot of times whenever we have this, we are just going to have this in the off position, or if we're using a loader or in a sticky situation where we know we need that front wheel assist, putting it in that on position is usually your best bet. Next, we're going to have our 3-point control right here. This is going to be not only where we can lower and raise our 3-point hitch, but we're also going to be able to lock it into a certain position using this knob right here. So we can use this and slide it, and you can see that tab right down there as it moves. So if I were to lock this into place here, move this lever up, it can only go to that position. So this is going to be great for those type of implements where we want to make sure and get down to the same depth every time that we're using it. We can lock that into place. That way we never miss whenever we're going through the field, lowering down that implement, making sure we're getting back to that same depth that we were at previously. And right back behind that, we are going to have our PTO engagement button. Now this is going to be not just a switch, but we have to push it down and then forward to engage that PTO. Right there, pull it back to turn it off, and then this is going to be our PTO engagement if we want to be outside of the tractor and still use the PTO. So if we're in some of those situations where we need to be outside the tractor and using the PTO, we can do that simply by hitting that button, following the steps, and then we can use our PTO outside the tractor for such things as a wood chipper or any of those implements really that you are going to need to be outside the tractor but need the power from the PTO to use them. Now over here on the side, you're going to see a lot of different pop outs here where we can add different buttons to this machine. So if we have different accessories and things that we need to add to this machine, maybe extra lights, other features to this machine, you have that accessibility here and the option to do that. You're also going to have a 12-volt outlet right back here, so if you need to charge those devices, and then plenty of storage, a cup holder, storage space here for your phone, as well as over here on the left hand side right behind our instructional seat, another cup holder, and also openings here for storage. Now, a couple of the things that we did not go over that are going to be down here more towards the bottom. We are going to have a light switch right down here that this is going to be for our hazards and for our either driving lights or working lights. Then down below on the floor here, we're going to have our clutch and our brake pedals right down here. So overall, just a pretty basic cab. Like I said, these are going to be great farm tractors. They are that entry-level farm tractor, but pretty basic overall. Easy for a new operator to understand, not a whole ton of electronics or anything that's confusing. It's just going to be a great overall workhorse tractor. Now, the big question we get a lot of times is going to be price and warranty. And what I tell everybody in these videos is you want to make sure and get in touch with your local John Deere dealership to get this information, because based on where you're at, you may have different discounts or incentives that you qualify for. So you want to make sure and talk to your local salesman, make sure that you are getting the best price that you can on these machines, make sure and checking if there are any discount programs that you qualify for or any incentives. And as far as warranty goes, there is always options to add extra warranty to these machines through the John Deere PowerGuard system, so make sure to ask about that as well and get a good overall glimpse of what everything is going to be covered under that warranty. So guys, I hope this video helped you out. I hope that you liked this video. If you did, we just ask you to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Also guys, if you are looking for more videos like this or just more videos over John Deere equipment in general, make sure to go check out the rest of the channel. And as always guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Hey guys, make sure to check out this cool video and this one. Buy your parts right up here and subscribe right here.